Hello, and welcome to the Combat Corner episode 29, the review of UFC 298. My name is Jackson.
My name is Kobe.
His name is Kobe. Today we'll be reviewing the card that took place yesterday. The headliners were Alexandra Volkonovski and Ilia Topuria. We will also be reviewing a very familiar drink to us, but maybe not to some of you. This is called Powerade. It is the Mountain Blast flavor, also known as just Blue Powerade.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hangover cure in New Zealand. It's kind of like, very similar to Gatorade, but this is probably the most popular one in New Zealand.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Most definitely.
I don't know why it's so popular here. Australia's Gatorade too, I think. And America is obviously Gatorade.
We might have a look into seeing if this is only sold here, because that would make sense as why it's so popular here.
Yeah, well, it's the Coca-Cola company.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, we'll dive into that in just a second when we start the episode.
Catch you guys shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Combat Corner.
Wow. Very anticlimactic opening of the drink this time.
No, it's not fizzy. That's the problem.
It's not fizzy, and it doesn't have a little tab, obviously. It's just a drink bottle style. I thought
first sip, it's good.
I thought this was quite a good drink for today. I'll dive right into the weather report. We've had a norwesterly wind today, and a high of 26 thus far, which is it's rather warm.
It's hot. It's a hot day. It's been pretty humid. It's actually been pretty overcast, but we often get overcast days that are pretty muggy and humid and warm.
Well, that nor'wester is what's bringing in the heat.
It is. Northwest, that's when the wind comes from the Australia way, right?
I believe so, yes.
Southeasterly is when it comes from the Antarctic way.
Correct.
So that, as you can probably tell, means Australia hot, Antarctica
cold.
Wow. It's a big block of ice.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that's the weather report. We may as well just finish the show.
It's out of the way.
It's all done. But this is a great drink, honestly. Absolutely lovely. I'm already putting it above Yow from last week.
When Kobe did a wee before this episode, and I was looking at the drink review standings, and I think I've already decided where I'm going to put it.
Well,
I'm not going to spoil it. You will have to wait until the end.
Watch the whole thing and give it a like. Even replay it a couple times if you want.
I don't care what you're doing while you're watching it. Just watch till the end.
Don't touch yourself. Or do. It doesn't bother me.
Bryden's going to sleep.
Bryden? I don't know if he still watches it because he's never told me about any of these shout-outs that we've given him.
I don't care.
I'm
going to keep bringing it up.
Screamed at him. Bryden, wake up!
Yeah.
I told him.
It's because he was already asleep.
He's already asleep.
Yeah.
But this is right at the beginning. So, Bryden, wake up!
Yeah.
Your mum needs you in the kitchen.
There's a fire.
There's a fire.
Yeah, your kitchen's on fire.
Your mum's on fire in the kitchen.
Your mum's on fire.
Your mum set herself on fire. Anyway, so getting into the main card. So, topical. Happened yesterday. Volkonovski versus Topuria. Volkonovski got decapitated.
Holy shit, there's a massive bug crawling across the grass.
Guys, there's a huge bug, and now I feel pretty uncomfortable.
I think it's crawling up your leg. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's leaving.
Pass my bottle. I'll squish it.
Okay.
Right.
We have some exterminating to do. This is the first murder on the show.
Right, you hold this.
Okay. Kobe's sprung into action.
Right, guys.
I'll keep talking. You're away from the microphone. Well, that was very loud.
Oh my god, it's fucking ruined it. It just got squished in half.
I can confirm the bug is dead.
That could be a song.
What kind of... That could be a song. What kind of bug was it, Kobe?
It's a fucking weird bug.
It's a fucking weird bug. That's what kind of bug it is. For you people at home who are bug nerds and really wanted to know what kind of bug it is, it's a fucking weird bug. So that's the bug review done for today. Weather report done, bug review done. I almost spoiled the drink review. Kobe's hitting his head on the microphone.
What a show. This is the brand new. This is the first Combat Corner.
I feel very uncomfortable holding the keyboard and the mouse. Also, I don't know.
That's another first.
That feels unnatural.
Anyway, guys, I just squished that bug. It squished it in half.
Congratulations.
And then I touched it with a piece of paper and half of it just disappeared. And I don't know where it went.
I watched a movie about bugs last night.
What was it? What movie was it?
It was called Starship Troopers. It wasn't actually about bugs. It was about aliens that they called bugs.
Ah.
It was kind of it was a strange movie. I think it was, there was almost a few references to those, that political party in Germany from the late 1930s and early 1940s. That was kind of
Nazi.
the Nazi tribe. That was kind of reminiscent of those times.
I don't think I watched that, but I swear I remember the bugs, calling them the bugs.
It's like a Star Wars parody. It's not it's not cringy as most parody movies. It's a bit more
parody?
It's a bit more like Sapphire. It's very satire. Sorry,
Sapphire.
God,
who's Sapphire?
Anyway,
fuck.
We're an MMA podcast, aren't we?
We just found a bug, and that kind of
we've just spent 6 minutes not talking about MMA.
100%. But anyway, getting into it. Volkonovski versus Topuria. Volkonovski got decapitated.
Yeah.
He did. And it was extremely sad. You may have seen our instant reaction. Patented. It wasn't nice watching. And looking back at it, I understand why we were all scared that was going to happen now. You know what I mean? Because it was.
Because it happened.
Yeah, because it was always fucking going to happen. I picked with my heart. But in my head, I was like, Volk's going to do well, but he's going to have nothing for him, and then he's going to get knocked out because this guy is just fucking vicious.
I don't know.
I was like, he couldn't knock out
Josh Emmett.
Josh Emmett in 5 rounds. He's not going to knock out Volk. And he did. And he did it. It was a beautiful knockout.
It was very, very clinical. And you could see he was so calm in there. That's another thing I want to say.
No wasted energy.
Yeah, no wasted energy, and he was just cutting off the corners for Volk to escape. And the first time that he got him trapped in that corner of the cage, boom.
Yeah, because he struggled to get him there for a while. Volk did actually do pretty well, and he won the first round. Although he didn't really land anything damaging. Topuria actually seemed to land the more damaging shots up till that point again.
Most definitely.
Joe Rogan always likes to find one specific thing that he points out over and over and over again every fight. But this time he was right. Volk was leaning back, and he wasn't moving to the side or using footwork to get out of situations. He would just lean back to avoid the punch, and he wasn't even really blocking. He was just leaning straight back, and that actually did end up kind of leading to him getting clipped. He didn't have his hand up. He was against the cage. He was right there, ready to be landed on.
Mm-hmm.
When you were watching it, did you find that from the very beginning, you felt like Volk was going to lose?
No, I didn't feel like Volk was going to lose, but I felt nervous. And I felt more nervous than I normally do in a Volk fight. It was like the first Islam fight. That's how I felt for this. I felt like I knew that there was a decent chance that Topuria clipped him, but I knew that Volk has the more complete kind of skill set in MMA. And I still believe that experience was obviously on his side, and he has shown that he can hang with the best when it comes to striking and when it comes to grapplers and even jiu-jitsu specialists as well. So I was kind of surprised of the outcome, but at the same time, Ilya just went in with the perfect game plan. And he thought he'd get it done in round 1, and he even in round 1 he landed some really significant leg strikes, which I think would have played a part into Volk's game plan in the second round, which was more evasive.
He also landed some pretty big headshots as well.
Yeah,
he landed a couple, and Volk was like, when Volk does that head nod and kind of to say, yeah, you got me there, but I'm all good.
But yeah, he wasn't stumbled, and he kept moving forward after that. So
it just felt a little bit like an inevitability that he was going to land clean at some point, and he did, and yeah, Volk went out.
But yeah, I want to say hats off to Volk, because
Yeah.
once again, he's a true
Class act.
a class act. Really good sportsmanship in the post fight press conference. He said, "Look, I went in there, I felt great. My camp was great. It's not a matter of turning things around too quickly since the Islam knockout. He was
You can't take anything away from.
Yeah, that's
Topuria.
right. And I think that's a really, you don't see that every day, and especially in MMA. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are quick to turn around and say, oh, you know, it was this or that.
Yeah.
My weight cut didn't go great. That all sorts of things like that. Flowers.
He said that last week.
I may have been referencing that, but yeah.
No, yeah. But sorry, I just choked a little
It's
bit.
okay. Right down the wrong hole.
Sorry, guys. I put it down the wrong hole again. But no, I completely agree. He was a completely, an absolute champion in defeat, as he always is. He's always he's just a really good guy. And even Topuria, in his post-fight interview, he said, like, I almost want to give him the rematch just because he's such a nice guy. Like, he's such a nice guy. He's the nicest guy in the world. He even said that, like, but at the same time, you know, I want to move on to better things. I want to move on to new things. I don't want to keep going again and again at the same thing. Which,
No.
if Volk wants a rematch, give him a rematch.
Yeah.
The guy defended 5 times. He gave Max 2 rematches after he beat him the first time.
Yep.
Volk deserves a rematch. Whether he should take a rematch, that's the debate that needs to be had. Obviously, he deserves it.
That's his choice to make, though.
It is,
You know,
yeah.
if he feels like he wants to turn around again after now being knocked out twice, and take an immediate rematch, then
It's the same.
that's his choice, and it's his funeral if it goes the same way. But
It is.
I can,
It is.
you know, the other argument too is if he takes some time off, then you get another guy come through and fight Topuria, and let's be honest, most likely lose.
Probably. He doesn't look like he's
then-
going to be beaten.
Then you could have some sort of problem where there might be a few people lined up to take a shot at the belt, and Volk's taken some time away, and then it wouldn't be till he was 37, 38 maybe before
Yeah.
he comes back. And
That's the other thing.
yeah, so it's
How long do we have for a rematch? Like, how long can Volk keep fighting? You know, he's 35. He's now taken 2 pretty brutal knockouts in a row. He's going to be 36 soon. If he takes, say, a year out, he will be 36, coming up 37. And the smaller guys, generally, as they age, they don't get any better. So if he doesn't get this rematch straight away and he does take some time off, or if he takes a year off and does get an instant rematch, it's all stacking up against him. It is all stacking up against him. Like, you don't want him to turn around too quick because he just got knocked out. You want him to take some time off, but he's also 35.
Yep.
So it's like, his career, man, it's not looking good.
well, his carear has looked fantastic.
Oh, no. His future.
Yeah.
The future of his career is not looking good. His career was amazing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. For me, he's easily top 10 of all
Yep.
time. Probably top 8. No, probably top 7. I'd probably put him at 6. Or even 5. It's tough, you know? It's tough.
I'd like I think I'd like to see him on the bench, like in the commentary kind of section.
Yeah,
even.
that'd be cool.
I think that would be awesome. He's proven time and time again that he's very analytical. He can break fighters down and kind of
He's funny.
Yeah, he's funny as well. Like there's
good
a lot of
character.
things in this guy's favor, and not all of them have anything to do with his fighting.
No.
So
I think everyone likes Volk.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one person in this whole world.
Topuria was like gearing up to be a twat to him the whole fight camp, and yeah, even he's saying that
Look, he's the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
And even the pre-fight face-off, it was like, he said to him, he's like, look, I really respect you as a man and as a fighter. I've just seen this. I've seen this happen in my dreams. I'm going to knock you out. That's exactly what happened.
Mhm.
So, like, you know, Topuria knows. And do you see Islam? He sent his daughters like a toy doll.
yeah,
That was pretty cool.
it was
Islam
cool.
is a fucking G.
He is a G.
Like, let's be real. Islam is a fucking top man. But no, everyone loves Volk. Everyone loves Volk. And I think Volk is sometimes maybe his own worst enemy. Like, he just wants to keep fighting over and over and over and over again. And there's two decisions that he's made now that are questionable. First of all, taking that Islam fight on short notice.
Yep.
With all the circumstances that surrounded that. Second of all, turning around really quickly and going into a title fight after 4 months, which I don't think was I don't think that really had an effect on the outcome.
No.
The previous one. But they're two decisions that are a bit up in the air, like, should he be doing both of these things?
Well, yeah, it's what most people are talking about at this stage, isn't it?
But he's a dog. He's an animal,
Yeah.
He thinks differently to most people.
I think he needs a new challenge, I think. But it's easy for us to say this sitting here.
Yeah. He does. He needs a new challenge. Put him in a wheelchair. Let's have him play wheelchair basketball.
Shall we have a look at the featherweight division and say
it's going to be tough?
Let's get out our crystal balls and just say that Volk isn't getting the next title shot.
Guys, I need to get up again. I need to put my laptop on charge.
Goodness gracious. This is and I can't just dive into a weather report either because I've prematurely got that out of the way. So I'm just gonna yesterday's weather. Why does anyone want to hear about yesterday's weather? Saying that this weather that they're getting right now is yesterday's weather.
Well, wants to hear about 2 days ago.
That's a good point. What else is going on? Kobe missed a parcel today, and he's very angry about it. He's having some serious struggles with the local courier around these parts. Keeps leaving "sorry we missed you" notes. I don't think he is very sorry by the sounds of it. If you're listening, Mr. Courier, you need to knock a bit louder and maybe just wait for someone to come to the door. Because my co-host here, my friend, he's not very happy with you.
Okay,
God, this is terrible. I'm out of things to say. You've put me on the spot.
We're back. Sorry, guys. So, look,
are we?
We're back. We're back in action. Look, all this just makes us even more, likable, real. We're real people. We're not just these celebrities you see on the screen.
Celebrities.
So the UFC lightweight,
Featherweight.
Yeah, I just like to keep you on your toes.
I'm always on my toes.
You're not right now.
That's a good point. Actually, yeah, I am.
You kind of are, yeah.
Yeah.
So bantamweight, featherweight. Here we go. So Volk is still champ. That's cool. They must have given it back to him.
Yeah.
Imagine Topuria popped for fucking EPO or some shit.
Goodness me. Max Holloway is still number one, but I have a feeling that we might see him move up to lightweight after this Gaethje fight. Look, it sounds like he has really taken his time with putting the weight on this time round, and whether or not there's many fights left for him at featherweight that are as exciting as the matchups he has at lightweight.
Yeah. And like the chance of becoming a double champ is probably more exciting to him than becoming the featherweight champ again.
Yeah.
He has already beaten everyone at featherweight apart from Topuria and Volk. But, is there any point? I wouldn't want to go fight Topuria if I was him.
No. Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say the winner of Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. This fight is coming up this weekend, I believe.
Perfect timing.
I believe. Yeah, it's almost like it was set up that way, Kobe. Would you agree?
It's almost like it was.
I think the UFC have got their little brains rubbing together, and they've gone, hey,
the little pink heads.
The little pink
all
heads.
All
oiled up.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that's definitely the next move. It's got to be. Holloway is going to be fighting in a couple months for the BMF. He's going to take some damage, win or lose.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, that's the perfect fight.
The other person that is...
Evloev,
yeah.
He's the other one, yeah. But...
who's he going to fight? He needs another fight. He can't just jump straight in there. Maybe he fights the loser of Ortega
give
and
him the
Yair.
loser. Topuria did mention, look, this guy needs to beat someone convincingly. He's only decisioned everyone that he's fought in the UFC. And that's
Who's that? Evloev?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he said basically maybe he should fight his dad, then he could finally get a finish.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said, yeah.
That's some good chat, Ilya.
Good chat, Ilya. So yeah. I mean,
who else have we got in there?
I think that's perfect.
No
Winner
one
fights Topuria, loser fights Evloev.
Yep.
And then the loser, if Evloev wins, you chuck him in for the title.
I think look, I think we're getting a bit too good at this now. But I also think
obvious,
that we're just kind of reading between the lines, quite literally, kind of just putting people where they're going to go.
Yeah, look, we're the matchmakers, and they have no idea who's going to fight. That's why Dana always says, look, we don't make fights on the night. Combat Corner comes out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So,
That's what he says.
That is what he says.
We would put it up on the screen, but we're just not smart enough.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. People know.
Who do you think's going to win between Yair and Brian?
I think Yair. Brian. I think Yair is going to win. I think his jiu-jitsu is brilliant. He's got much better striking than Ortega, although Ortega's no slouch on the feet, and he could definitely catch him in a submission. But he's just not active enough. He isn't active enough. And Yair's been active, and he's looked fucking good. He even looked good against Volk, although he did get beat very convincingly. He had moments in that fight. So I think for sure Rodriguez will probably win that.
Yeah, I like that. I agree. Didn't one of them run into an injury the last time they fought?
Yeah, it was a submission by Yair Rodriguez. It was a dislocated shoulder.
Ooh.
But he did submit him because it was a triangle attempt, and he pulled out and dislocated his shoulder.
Owie.
So, yeah, tough. But yeah, that's pretty obvious. Volk, sit out, wait for a rematch. I don't want to see him fight anyone else. I don't want to see him fight Evloev. I mean, he could if they're not going to give him the title fight, but it's Volk. He deserves a title fight.
Styles make fights, and I like the stylistic matchup between Yair and Ilia Topuria.
So
I know we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but
I also think that Evloev is a very winnable fight for Volk. Mm-hmm. Like, if Volk wants to get a win against the guy who's not going to knock him out, fight Evloev.
That's true.
It's a winnable fight.
Main
event, UFC 303. Sorry.
Saying that, if Evloev has now been told by the champ that he needs to win convincingly, he's going to go in there with some ideas.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And yeah, I think he does, like, Evloev needs to wait for the landscape to kind of iron out a little bit before he takes the next fight, because he doesn't want to be fighting down.
No, he wants to be fighting up.
Yeah, he needs to be fighting one of those top four. Shall we move on?
Let's move on.
We've waffled on for a while now.
Very sad about the result.
Lot of waffle.
Hey, look, one more thing. Topuria is 26 years old. This guy's going to be a force in the UFC.
Yes.
He's the real deal. I'd like to see him go up eventually and fight Islam. That would be fun. One day in the distant future.
While we're still talking about it, instead of moving on like I suggested,
I just wanted to bring that point
What
up.
about O'Malley versus Topuria? Because O'Malley has a bit of beef with Mr. Topuria, and has also said that if Ilia beat Volkanovski, he would think about moving up. And
he doesn't want to fight Merab.
He doesn't want to fight Merab. He doesn't want to defend his belt too many times because it takes away from his
cuck lifestyle.
Well,
no.
It's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I don't think he's that comfortable being there at the top, in my opinion.
Look, O'Malley's great, and I honestly think he would have a decent chance against Merab at clipping him early and finishing him, because Merab gets hurt. He's got hurt on the feet multiple times, and look, if Sean hits you, it's much different kettle of fish than if Henry hits you, and he got rocked badly in that first round. Not badly, but he got rocked by Henry.
I got rocked pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why Sean, I mean, maybe he's not avoiding him. Maybe we're all just making this up, but if I was Sean, I'd be like, give me fucking Merab. I want to prove that I'm actually legit.
I think that's why I'm sitting here saying he doesn't seem that comfortable at the top, because he's taken this fight against Marlon Cheeto Vera, who is number 6th ranked.
Yeah, it's annoying. It should be fucking Merab. Like, it should be. Bro, that guy is so good. He's a monster. Anyway, we'll move on, because he will be a talking point in the future of this episode, won't he? Co-main.
Yes, he will.
He will.
Co-main was my favourite fight so far this year.
It was pretty damn good. That was, I agree.
What a banger.
Yeah. How it didn't get fight of the night, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Who did get fight of the night?
Mackenzie Dern, her fight was fight of the night. I thought she won as well. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was pretty crazy, but this fight was better. For sure, this fight was better.
I think someone's got a crush on Mackenzie Dern. I'm not saying it's me. I'm not saying it's me.
Sure it's all of us, mate.
I'm not saying it's me, but someone does, because what?
There's a picture of Mackenzie on the screen.
No, there's not.
But yeah, Rob versus Costa. Look, Costa clipped him hard at the end of the first round, which I think should have won him that round for sure. Like that had to have won him, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I gave it to Costa.
Yeah.
I gave the first round to Costa, and then the second
the last two
to Rob,
Rob.
and the third was just convincingly Rob.
Yeah. 100%. Rob won the fight. Costa, someone gave that first round to Rob.
What, one of the judges?
Yeah, it was 30-27 to Rob.
That's right, yeah.
Which is insane. I mean,
It's not
watching
insane.
Look, Rob won the round before that head kick, but when there's a moment that big, it's got to, right? Like, it's got, if there was like 30 seconds more, you know, it wasn't.
I agree, yeah.
But, you know, not that big of a deal. But, yeah, so Costa rocked him early in the fight at the end of that first round, and then it was all Rob. He convincingly picked apart Costa's striking offense. No real ground, nothing. There was no wrestling at all. Costa going a bit bald.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Just on the top of his head. He's thinning out a bit.
He might even, look, I can see him being the kind of guy who'd get some plugs in there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Fuck
yeah.
What would he look like bald? Would he be as sexy as me?
Like,
I don't think so.
No, he wouldn't. He'd look like Wanderlei Silva. Maybe not. What would he look like? I think he'd look alright. He's got that Chad face.
He does. Yeah, it's all in the jawline, isn't it? Look, I think that this... I was a bit worried about Rob's chin going into this, but I'm not anymore. And I know he got pretty rocked, but he recovered from it well. And the other thing too is he got hit clean with that wheel kick.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That would have put most people on their ass. He didn't fall. God damn.
That was super impressive. Huge kick, landed clean, and Rob proved that he's got a hell of a chin. Like, because there was a few questions about that coming into this fight.
I was one of them.
Exactly.
I had some questions.
And he answered them.
He did.
With flying colours.
Thanks, Rob.
That guy could go on and win the belt again. For sure he could. And this fight, you've got to think, puts him into that number one contenders fight. And I know exactly who I want to match him up with.
Sean
Strickland.
Yes. I like that.
That's the perfect fight.
It's so good. And
Sean's too big of a star for him to like headline a non-pay-per-view now, though. You know what I mean? Sean is a huge star.
Look, the other thing too is they've been building some pretty decent fight nights.
They have, yeah.
And I think Sean versus Rob on the headliner of one of those
could be.
It's still a big draw.
I don't know. I think they're going to put Strickland's next fight on a pay-per-view card just for the pay-per-view points.
That would make sense.
Because that guy's a huge star, and then they don't have to pay him pay-per-view points for the people he brings in, which is big. I think 5 rounds, though. It's got to be 5 rounds. Co-main of maybe like UFC 303, 304. Rob versus Strickland. What a fight that would be. I think Strickland will do it. I think Rob will do it. I think Rob he's got the tools.
And these two have never been matched up before, which is another exciting part of it. Because if you scroll down on the rankings here, most of the middleweight division have kind of faced each other at some point.
Yeah, they have.
Because they're all, until you get to Brendan Allen, they're all kind of older dudes. Do you know what I mean?
They've been around a while.
They've been around the block.
I mean, Rob's 33, so he's coming into his prime for sure now. Like, he's got, 3 years left at the top of his game?
Yeah. He has fought a lot, though.
He's fought a lot.
I'll say that because, a lot of these guys who come into their prime at around 32 or 33, they are guys who haven't fought as much and haven't taken as much damage as Rob has.
Yeah.
He stayed very active throughout his career, but he did start very young.
He did. And he's been through a couple of weight classes. Look, I think he's got a while left on the ticker. He looked keen,
Okay.
And a lot of people would get rocked like that and it would take it out of them, but he came back in the second round.
And he looked just as confident as he did when he stepped in the first.
Vigorous.
I agree.
Let's be real. Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker, that's the perfect fight.
That's the fight to make right now.
Perfect fight. What about Costa?
What about Costa?
What about Parlo and his secret juice?
That is interesting because I think we book up Hamzat versus Costa once again.
Yeah, that would be ideal. It gives Costa a chance to get a high-profile win.
Yeah.
It's entertainment.
It is entertainment.
Personified.
And plus it's Hamzat fighting a bona fide middleweight, someone who has fought at middleweight before. And it's a chance for him to get into the top 10. I think we'll see Costa possibly move down to 7th or 8th ranked after that loss.
Yeah, I mean, it was close, but yeah. I mean, I don't reckon he'll go below Imamov or Allen
No?
for now until they get a win.
Okay.
I don't know. Because that was Rob Whittaker, you know.
That's true.
He's a good guy.
He's a good fighter too.
Very good fighter. He's both. But Paulo versus Costa is...
Paulo versus Costa.
Paulo versus Chimaev. I always do that. Maybe I got CTE. Paulo Costa versus Chimaev. Perfect fight to make.
Thumbs up.
I want it to be a 5-round co-main again. I really do. I just think Strickland, Chimaev, Paulo, and Whittaker are all too big for fight night cards.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Strickland and Chimaev. They're too big of stars for fight night cards. They need to be on pay-per-view.
Yep.
So I want them both to be 5-round co-mains. I don't know. That's just me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that. A fight that I want to see in future as well is Paulo Costa versus Strickland. I think that brings some eyes. I also think that those styles up against each other. I think that's a tough fight for Strickland. To be honest,
there's a lot of tough fights for Strickland
because Paulo has shown he's very durable. Saying that, if you can hit him with the jab, as Rob found, you can just point fight the guy, and he does struggle with that.
He does for sure. And Rob's jab was so good.
It was slick, man.
Oh my god, his combos were beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
His head movement, man, like he actually looked better than ever. And look, Rob looks great most fights. He looked better than ever. You know,
he looked mad.
He looked
on
mad.
his walkout. He looked mad.
Even in his pre-fight interviews and shit, there was a bit of like an energy about him of like, I'm gonna hurt Costa.
Apparently, I heard that he'd been like knocking people out in this.
That's what
camp.
he was saying.
Yeah. Who skites about that?
Like, bro, you're not supposed to knock out your training partners, bruh. But yeah, moving on. Should we move on?
Yeah, we should.
Jeff Neal fought Ian Gary, and he lost.
Was it a fight? It looked like
it was garbage.
It looked like a man chasing down another man.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this fight. Look, I'm going to say hats off to Ian Gary because
he got the win.
He got the win, and sure, there's some questions on the way that he was evading Jeff Neal the whole time. But the thing is Jeff Neal needed to be able to cut off the cage a bit more, and he just wasn't doing that. He wasn't listening to his corner. His hands went down about 2 minutes left in the second round, and he looked tired. So he was quite happy staying out of range as well.
Yeah, he needed to do much more. Like, I saw a tweet, and it was like, I think Jeff Neal lost that fight more than Ian Gary won it. You know? Like, it just didn't feel like a win. It just felt like Jeff disappointed. Gary did what he does.
Yep.
You know, and he's got a point. If you were in the cage with Jeff Neal, you wouldn't just stand right in front of him and let him hit you.
No, but
saying that he was literally running away after every combo he landed. It was like skirting around the edges of the fucking.
I don't totally agree with that. I think there was some good counter striking implemented by Ian Gary.
Yeah,
he landed some good shots on the way out.
A lot of speed.
Yeah, a very very fast guy in terms of his head movement and footwork. But yeah, there was a lot of running going on. I won't take that away from what you're saying, but I don't think it's fair to say that every single combination Jeff landed, Ian scooted out of there.
I think they both could have done more to make the fight more entertaining for sure. But look, Ian Gary went in there to win, and he did, and he won. I thought it was pretty clear that he won.
Yeah, I think so too.
I thought it was 30-27. I thought all the rounds were pretty close, but I think Ian won every round. I just think he was better.
Yep. I think, but
it was so close.
I can't remember if it was the first or second round. I was a bit on the fence for who won it, but yeah, there was 2 rounds when I was sure that Ian took those.
Yeah.
No problem. Look, just jumping straight into it. There's quite an easy path to the belt if he wants it, in the form of, I think,
Colbert.
Colby Covington when he fought Leon Edwards recently, he did not look in the greatest shape. Whether or not fighting a guy like Ian and being able to really break him down over a 2-month period in terms of the press conferences and the trash talk and all that kind of shit, I don't know if that's totally going to take an effect on Gary, because
seems pretty headstrong.
Yeah, he
honestly does.
He does seem pretty headstrong for what he's been through in the last.
We put him through
What, 4 months now?
Yeah. No, I agree. He seems pretty fucking headstrong, and good on him. To be fair, I think Colby is the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun. The build up will be fun. If he can wrestle Gary, that's a big question that we all want to see answered.
Yeah,
you know, if he can get his hands on him, take him down. Can Gary survive? He says he's got jiu-jitsu, but does he? We want to see it.
I think the other fight that that could be a potential stepping stone there for him is Wonderboy.
Yeah, Wonderboy would be fun. That would be really fun. Maybe Wonderboy and then one more until he fights for the title,
I think Gary has already said in a press conference, though, that Wonderboy doesn't want to fight him.
Yeah, he said Wonderboy's never going to take that fight or something. He did call him out at one point, and look, that would be a really fun fight. That would be a really fun fight, and I think Gary would struggle in that. Although Stephen he's older now, he's not as quick and as snappy as he was.
Ran straight through him.
But they're two different opponents,
Yeah.
You don't. Oftentimes, if you strike with Wonderboy, you don't come out on top,
Mm-hmm.
But Gary's got some insane striking skills, so maybe he could. I just want to see him fight Colby.
His kicks, bro.
Yeah, his kicks are good.
His kicks are insane.
Very nice.
And the way he mixes them up, his head kicks are rapid too. They just come out of nowhere.
And that front teep to the knee, just to keep distance. Look, he's a great fighter. It was annoying me how they were like shoving his wife in front of the camera over and over again.
No one else's partner gets that attention.
And like they're not right there. She was like on the walkout area. Like I was like, why is she there? It's because they know.
They do.
They know exactly what they're doing. They're like, we'll put her on camera. It'll piss people off. And that's how we build a star or a heel. I think, though, look, Ian Gary has successfully made himself probably the biggest heel in the UFC now. He's not got all the fans, like their love. He's got their hate. And that's just as good.
Yeah. Well, it's even more powerful.
Even more, because everyone wants to see him lose.
Yep.
And I even on the verdict app, my head was saying Gary's going to win by decision. I literally was thinking that. But I was like, you know what? No. I want to see him fucking get knocked out so bad. And I think Jeff can do it. I'm going to put him down.
That's one thing I think we should bring up, the verdict.
Yeah.
What happened there? Who won this week?
It was close.
Was it?
We'll just say it was close.
Was it close?
Well, I was second. I picked all the same ones as you. You just put more XP on certain ones.
No, you didn't pick all the same ones.
Apart from Gary. I got more accurate predictions right, though. I picked round 2 submission by Hernandez. You picked round 3. Just saying.
Okay.
I picked Rob by decision. So did you.
I got 3,500 XP and you got 3,000.
So that's close. That's pretty close.
It's not bad.
But I like how me and you are at the top of that list by quite a margin. Yeah, all our friends, we all like do a verdict. You know who you are. We all do verdict picks, and basically every week it's always me and Jackson at the top. And I messaged Jackson, I was like, this is why we're the ones with the podcast. Huh?
We still need to get a job,
Great
though.
Insight. Oh yeah, we need to get a job. Just to let you know, guys, I'm looking for work. I'll do anything.
Yeah, I wonder if that guy who left that comment will give us a job.
I wonder if he has a job.
That's a good point.
I bet you he doesn't have a fucking job. Or if he does, I bet you it's minimum wage and he works at Macca's or some shit.
Yeah, we're not on minimum wage, just so you know.
There's no problem
high
working for minimum wage.
Yeah, there is. Get a
it
real
would
job.
Suck. My tongue is so blue. Yours
Mine's
isn't.
not. Yeah, I'm built different.
I must drink drinks differently.
Maybe.
But think about it, like, because I kind of like squeeze it in and it goes against my tongue and then goes up.
Wow.
Like, well, how do you do it? Do you go?
I need to think about it now.
I guess you do it more. Oh, I go.
No, it was definitely against my tongue.
Interesting. Maybe we've got different types of tongue.
Well, I'm chewing gum as well. That might be ridding my tongue of the blueness.
That's true. Maybe the gum is blue.
It's not. It's white.
This is actually giving me a nice little burst of energy. I like
We should
it.
do gum reviews.
Gum reviews. Okay. Leave a comment if you want. If you got any gum that you want us to try.
You don't. You don't,
No,
do you?
Don't, do you?
You're not
Moving
even
on.
listening.
Oh, we didn't match up Neil.
Neil.
He's
Who
already
should?
fought Luke? He's already fought Thompson.
He
He should fight down.
Do you know what I think? I think he should fight the winner of Kevin Holland and
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Michael Venom Page.
That'd be a good one.
Because I think either of those guys could beat Neil, and I want to see either of those guys moving into the top 10.
Same. I agree. That'd be a great fight. Good banger. And if Neil shows up, he could beat them both too. And that's what we wanna see.
We've done it again. We can't see you. Can you see us?
Yeah, they can see us.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, I clicked. What's up with us today?
That's not me. I'm on form.
Well, you pointed out that bug.
I'm going well today. I see everything.
Yeah.
I'm like Volk right before he got knocked out.
Yeah.
I see it all.
You're right.
Right.
Moving on.
2 more fights to break down, don't we?
Henry Cejudo versus Merab Dvalishvili. Henry looked good in the first round.
Yes, he did.
Merab looked really good in the second and third round.
I was on the edge of my seat for this. I don't know why, but
Same. Yeah.
I think I'd never seen Henry fight live before. I missed his fight against Aljo, and I heard not the greatest things about it, so I didn't watch it back.
It wasn't. It was a good fight. Technical.
Yeah, but I enjoyed watching him fight. I think, did he talk about retirement in his
He's
post?
done. He took his gloves off. He said if he lost, he didn't get a post-fight speech. They didn't give him one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but
Okay.
he took his gloves off, and I think he was going to retire, or maybe I don't know something.
No, I meant the press conference afterwards. Did he have a chat?
Oh no, he
there?
didn't either.
Oh.
Because that would have popped up. We would have seen it, But no, he didn't announce anything. But in the before the fight, he said, "Look, if I lose, that's it for me." And look, the guy shouldn't have retired the first time.
No, I agree.
He retired in his prime, right after beating Dominic Cruz. Could have fought 2-3 more times, got 2-3 more title defenses in his prime while active, instead of taking a 3-year hiatus. He should have just kept fighting. But
I agree currently with
that.
his statement of being he's not the best UFC fighter of all time. He's not the best wrestler of all time, but I think he is one of the greatest combat sports athletes of all time. One person I want to say who's in the UFC, who we have a little view of him on the left monitor right now. I don't know if you know who I'm going to say that might be coming for it, but Mr. Powhatan Alex Pereira, I think with his
He's
dominance in kickboxing and now being a 2-division champ in the UFC, I think he is in the conversation as well.
No, yeah, 100%. 100%. Him and, you've got the likes of, I don't know, who else? I mean, you can say like Muhammad Ali. They're all in there in this boat.
Yeah, but
Daniel Cormier.
These guys were like
Funky
Muhammad
Ben
Ali.
Askren. Jokes.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali. I agree in terms of the popularity he brought to boxing and combat sports in general. But if you want to look at someone who's kind of gone across the board and done this, that, and everything, and been dominant in each
Shows
field,
they can do it all.
Yeah, I think Henry and Alex are right up there at the top of my lists.
I agree. Who do you think? No, let's talk about Merab.
Yeah,
This guy, the machine that just doesn't stop coming. He's so good. He is so good. I would not want to fight him.
no,
I wouldn't want to train with him. He's scary. He just picked up Henry on the third round and dumped him in front of Mark Zuckerberg.
yeah, that was so funny.
But-
He was having fun in that third round, man.
Yeah.
And that was getting me nervous. I'm like, focus, Merab. I'm like, just stay focused.
To be fair, though, Henry looked like he was just done. Like,
Yeah, he did.
By the time the third came around,
He's
was
still
like,
dangerous,
"Fuck
though.
this." Yeah,
He's still got power in his hands, and he's still got threats. But
it's I think Henry has an issue of he's a great wrestler, but he fell in love with striking. Now he thinks that he's Conor McGregor on the feet when he's not. He's not Conor McGregor on the feet. He looks like he is. He's trying to imitate him with his fucking little snake charming thing, but like he isn't. He's a great wrestler and he's got good striking. Okay, strike, like he's decent, right? Khabib said that there's a little back and forth they had, and Henry's like showing him a leg kick and trying to explain why this works and this, and Khabib's like, "How many guys have you knocked out in your career?" And he's like, 4 or 5 in the UFC, and Khabib's like, "You're an Olympic wrestler. Just take them down,
Yeah.
you fucking idiot. Why are you talking about striking? Take them down. You're an Olympic wrestler, Olympic gold medal." And Henry's like,
That's quite a good Henry impression.
"Yeah, that's what he does."
But
anyway, yeah.
And Merab, he was onto it with the wrestling. He was almost taking him down at will.
Yeah.
And that little trip that he used, that little sweep.
That was nice.
Oh, that was very
That was
nice.
clean. I think the scorecards were read out correctly. 29-28 for Merab. Pretty easy to call that. Henry did have moments, but he's past it. Let's be real. Henry should retire. Merab should fight for the belt. I'm just going to say it right there.
And the other thing too is, Cejudo's not going out on a string of knockouts. He's not going out on a string of terrible losses when he looked way out of his depth. He just fought Aljamain Sterling for the belt on his return and lost by a split decision, and then turned around and fought the most dangerous contender in the bantamweight division that we have seen in years.
And he looked okay against both.
He looked pretty good against both, yeah.
If only he didn't take the 3 years off and he just stayed, he probably would have beaten both Aljo and Merab by this point, and probably fucking Sugar Sean, and he could have had a really long reign. Like, he could have been really dominant, but
look, there's other things that come into it as well. You know, when you're a champ that is that dominant, if you want to say that he would have stuck around for that long, you get complacent and
you never know what might have happened.
you never know. Yeah, exactly. But I think you're right. I think Henry needs to go out.
There's no point in him if he's not going to get a title fight. He's 37 now. He's a popular guy,
and
people like him.
He's a really talented coach as well.
Yeah,
he's great at breaking down the sport. He can see angles that other people might not be able to pick up on, and he's funny. But yeah, I think him coaching, or even him involved in the UFC media in some sort of way would be a great sidestep for his career.
Yeah, he could do like Spanish speaking or something.
We are running out of time, so shall we move on to Hernandez?
Yeah, let's talk about Hernandez versus Kopylov.
Yeah.
So Hernandez made it look pretty easy. We called this. We said, look, Kopylov's good, but his takedown defense is trash. He didn't even get taken down. He like fell, and then he just got his back.
His takedown defense isn't trash.
Well, he looked good in that fight.
Previous
to that,
he hadn't been taken
average. down
for the last 20 attempts that people had attempted on him.
Well,
did you know that?
Go, little stat man, Stat man Jackson.
Well, they spat it out while they were talking about the fight.
But when I've watched him before, I've seen him get taken down relatively easy by much lesser opponents too than Hernandez, who was a jiu-jitsu world champion. So that's why I thought, I think he's going to take him down, and I think he's going to submit him, and he did.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't get the first takedown, or the second, or even the third, I don't think. But he just kept chipping away, and by the time that he spent a bit of time hanging around on the back and locked that choke in, boom.
Yeah, no, it was pretty. Again, I'm not going to say easy. I don't think it was easy because a fight's never easy. But Kopylov just didn't have any moments, and Hernandez looked like he was, relatively, pretty calm and at ease that whole time. And he does look like Dylan.
Yeah, Hernandez. He does. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Mexican Dylan.
I just want to point out one thing quickly, just while it's still fresh on our minds. We didn't match up Merab, but he's obviously needs to fight for the belt next. Henry, we said we want to retire, but Anthony Hernandez, who do we want to see him up against?
So Anthony Hernandez coming in at middleweight. He's obviously 15th. He was supposed to fight. Who is he supposed to fight? The Hamzat guy. The guy who's kind of like Hamzat.
Wow.
Can't remember his name.
I don't know.
I'll find it. He was supposed to fight Aliskerov, Ikram.
Oh, okay.
Aliskerov.
Is he ranked?
No, he's not. So that could be...
No.
It's not really fair.
No, it's not.
He should fight up.
Definitely.
Paul Craig.
We match him up against a lot of people.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
But Paul Craig, great jiu-jitsu. Anthony Hernandez, great jiu-jitsu. We could see... Oh, but then they'll just end up fighting on
I
the
think
feet,
Roman
won't they?
Delitze is quite a good...
Delitze would be a good test.
Because-
jiu-jitsu guy.
yeah. And the other thing too is Delitze's just coming off a loss.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's a good idea. Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Delitze. Delitze's got some power in his hands as well. Don't get it twisted. So both jiu-jitsu guys, it's going to be interesting. If they do start grappling, it'll be very interesting and cool to watch. But if they don't, you'd think Delitze probably has the advantage on the feet.
mm-hmm.
So I think that's a very good matchup. In terms of Kopylov, he's got to go backwards, He's got to fight another unranked guy, someone who's maybe a striker,
Mm-hmm.
who he can display his skills against. Needs to work on his grappling. He looked like a bit of a fish out of water once he got taken down.
Yeah, he
and,
did.
He gave up the back twice. He did escape once, but he gave it
One
up
trick
again.
pony.
Yeah, and oh look, Anthony Hernandez is great on the feet,
Oh yeah,
but
his pressure was great.
yeah,
He just kept him on the back foot for the majority of that fight, and that's why he just could keep shooting for those takedowns
yeah.
over and over again, is because he was mixing it up with his striking so well.
Yeah, he kind of, he found it easy to get in, and then he pressured him against the fence or whatever. And yeah, you're right.
I normally am.
Yeah.
Shall we brush over
And
the
you're also bald.
prelims? The prelims.
Yeah, let's have a look at the prelims.
The prelims.
The prelims. Preliminary. The prelims. So it was a very short prelim card. Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. I thought Dern won that.
So did Dern.
Yeah, she did. She thought she got the announcement, eh?
She threw
Yeah.
her arms up in the air when they read someone else's name out.
And her name is not even close.
No. That's got to be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, but it's Mackenzie Dern, so we'll
She's
let her roll.
hot, so I'll let it slide.
We'll let it slide. Lemos looked like she looked very good when she was on, but then she got taken down and kind of held there. That's obviously a big point for her. Obviously, Dern's amazing on the ground, so it's always going to be difficult. But Lemos also had a lot of issues on the ground against Wei Li Zhang. So Lemos, very dangerous though with the hands. Some knockout power in those hands. She brutalized Mackenzie Dern. Brutalized her
Oh, her
in that
leg.
second round. And her face.
Yeah.
Bloodied her up.
Yeah, just
Mackenzie
keep
Dern's
peppering
tough,
her.
Did you think Dern won as well? I don't know. Maybe I was just
No, I don't
confused.
think so. I think, look, there's obviously going to be arguments from both sides. That's the problem when you leave it in the judge's hands. But if you were to leave it in my hands, if you were to leave Mackenzie Dern in my hands,
she would win.
she would, yeah, in my arms. No, look, I think Lemos did enough to win.
Yeah.
But it's always tricky when you have someone like Dern who does take them down and dominate the last kind of round and a half, maybe. It kind of makes you forget about the first round of dominance, and the way that she did kind of pick her apart on the feet, I think, yeah, it did answer more questions, whereas Dern couldn't finish things on the ground. So
and Dern looked very, very trash on the feet.
yep, and she
looks like a
didn't
fish out of
have
water.
too many submission attempts on the ground either. So
No.
when you take someone down, you need to be
Pressuring.
active. You need to be pressuring them. Yeah, I agree. You need to be throwing in a submission attempt. You need to be ground and pounding them. And unfortunately, there wasn't enough of any of those factors to give her the win.
DeLima versus Junior Taffa. I was going to say Justin.
This was
You can tell he stepped in late, and
yeah.
he was a fish out of water against a much better opponent.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot smaller as well.
Yeah.
DeLima's huge.
It is huge.
Leg kick TKO.
Taffa
basically.
looks like he would be a perfect size for light heavyweight if he just lost the weight.
Lost the flubber.
But DeLima, yeah, pressured him in the best way that he. I don't know if that was a calculated thing or if he just noticed that he could land every single leg kick he threw. The other thing I want to say is where was Taffa just all he needed to do was switch stance. I know it's obviously not as comfortable fighting out of your opposite stance, but when your leg is that chewed up, man.
He just couldn't do it. He kept switching back. He must just not have the southpaw stance in his arsenal. He must just be so much more comfortable in orthodox, which is a shame. You need to be well versed in both, but that's a good learning point for him.
I want to say his corner gave him some very good advice between rounds.
Oh, yeah,
They said,
yeah.
"You can do it, G."
Do it, G.
you can fucking do it, G. So that was pretty mean.
Yeah, that was good.
I think that was great corner
I appreciated
advice.
that. I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, I think anyone who's sitting there and getting their ass beat, if you have a corner man like that,
You're going to win. But he didn't. But maybe DeLima overheard them and he was like, oh, that's what he's going to try and do.
yeah, he's going to try and do it, G.
And then he was like, I'm not going to let him.
I'm not going to let him fucking do it, G.
Rinya Nakamura looking very impressive.
Yeah.
Dominated Vera, both on the feet and on the ground.
Yeah, I want to see this guy take another unranked fight.
Same, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
It might even be another preliminary kind of fight, or it could possibly be on the fringes of a main card.
Yeah.
Possibly, he could even
This guy's good.
could
He's
even be
good.
co-main of a fight night.
Maybe.
Um,
Maybe. He's good. For sure, he's good. This guy's going to go places.
But I wanted to see him get a finish this fight, you know.
Yeah. So he did too.
And
He kind of pointed that out.
he said,
was
he broke his hand, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
good.
I think so.
You don't
That's
want
not
that.
very nice for him. Poor guy.
Moving
On, guys. Moving on. We've got a couple more things we need to bring up.
just
today.
a couple, so just sit tight and we'll be
Sit
over in a
tight.
minute, okay?
Right here. We'll be right here to support you. So, UFC 300 main event is finally here, guys. It got announced. Oh my god. What we've been waiting for.
A flop.
What a letdown.
What a flop!
And also confirmation from Dana White that Wei Li Zhang is going to be the co-main. So there's not another title fight being added to the card like we kind of all thought might happen. There's going to be one more fight added, but who gives a fuck? The main event is a good like I would be excited for this fight if it was like 301 or 302 as a headliner, don't you think?
Yes.
Like it would be. But 300,
We've been told so many things, and they were obviously just we were told that there would be the return of someone.
the
and-
Mac. Return of the Mac.
No, I don't know if he was teasing at Conor McGregor.
I know.
I think he was teasing at someone else, and
Israel Adesanya.
no, I don't even think that. He was saying it's
Ronda Rousey.
that potentially, maybe, I don't know, but look,
Chuck Liddell.
okay, you're just getting more and more ridiculous as you go on now, but you know what I'm saying? He said,
Yeah.
I'm going to have a guy come back to fight that you guys haven't seen in a long time.
He said that it was going to be insane. You guys aren't going to believe this main event.
Yeah, and now we have a fight that we all knew was going to happen
Yeah.
at some point. We all knew Jamal Hill was next in line to fight Alex Pereira. We just didn't know when due to injury and also him beating up his family. But
Yeah. He still looks pretty chubby as well. Like there was a video of him saying, "I'm back, guys," and he doesn't look in great shape. There's 2 months to go. Look, he can get in great shape in 2 months for sure if he's vigilant all this, and he's always come in good shape. But 2 months, like after a serious injury,
yeah,
he's a good fighter. But like 300, really? Jamal Hill versus fucking Alex Pereira? I mean, it's a good fight.
Is this the biggest draw that they have for this year? Is this the biggest fight that they can make this year?
Because that's what we were expecting.
Yeah. And I don't think it is on any level.
No. I don't think it is. I think there's going to be much better headliners, much better, bigger headliners, more exciting ones. Look, the card is good. We can't take that away from it, though. The card is stellar.
Entertainment-wise, in terms of the quality of the fight that we're going to get out of this, sure, it is a top-level fight.
Oh,
We've
absolutely.
got Alex Pereira, who has shown that he is possibly one of the greatest strikers we've ever seen in the UFC.
100%.
Currently sitting with 11 fights in MMA altogether, and he's already won 2 belts in 2 divisions.
It's very impressive.
It's unheard of. And Jamal Hill also just as an impressive of a resume. He's only got 13 fights and he made his way up to the belt.
Yeah. Super cool, super impressive, and I would have been real hyped for this. It's just that it's lacking something.
It's
Excitement.
way out of its depth. Yeah, this has been hyped up. There's obviously been so many things fall through.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but this is becoming a bit of a trend right now. We almost saw Dustin Poirier and
Saint
Denis fall apart the other week because it wasn't confirmed before it was announced. We've also had other fights that we've been told.
Well, Leon, 3 fights apparently he had offered to him. We're going to give you this guy, and this guy. Which one do you want? Any of them, boss. I'll do anything. Couldn't get a fight. What's going on behind the scenes? I want to see this documentary.
Really something missing, eh?
There is. It's almost like Yeah, I wonder if this documentary does come out and we see a bit more of the behind the scenes of how they get things done. It might be quite eye opening.
Yeah.
Because
look, I hate to say it because this is like obviously this is my favorite sport and it's the fastest growing sport in the world as well. But it seems like the UFC are getting a bit too cocky.
Complacent as well.
I think so, yeah, because it seems like they've realized, look, there's no other real players in this game. We can really, like, people are going to watch anyway. But I mean,
100%.
there's a certain point where there's a tipping point in that, isn't there? And it starts going the other way.
So they see it, like you say, it's UFC 300. People are going to buy this pay-per-view. As long as they're fans, they're going to buy this pay-per-view. Casual fans are going to tune in.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. People are going to want to watch it. So they're like, you know what? We'll just chuck on a card. Just a card. A normal card. And don't get me wrong, this is one of the best cards ever. Like, well, in recent memory, the card is very good.
But the main event.
But the main event, it's like, bro, what? And there's a lot of other disappointing things about the card too, you know? There's a few, I don't know. It is good. It is really good.
Here's what I'll say. If the main event was what it was made out to be, this would be the greatest card we've ever seen. But unfortunately, it's not.
If there was something just like different about just something different. Like this just feels like a standard.
In terms of star power, it's very different. But yeah, the main event we've been told it's going to be this, it's going to be that, it's going to be huge. You're not going to expect what's coming, and yet we get something like I said earlier that we knew was coming.
It's like if this was the co-main, and then there was something else that was like some crazy Floyd Mayweather versus a shark, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
something mad. Brock
Lesnar versus a German tiger tank.
Yeah, something like that. You know, and that could happen. I've heard rumors about that. Look, guys, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. This fight's going to be interesting. Whether this is, 300 headliner worthy, we don't think so. But the headliner of 200 was, who it was?
Wasn't it Rousey versus, no?
It was Misha Tate versus Holly Holm. So it's a lot better than that, at least.
It's crazy. Wasn't it supposed to be Jones versus Cormier, though?
But Jones did a Jones.
Jones took drugs.
And also, Conor was supposed to potentially do it, but he retired. So
He retired. That's what I said.
Anyway, guys, one more thing I just wanted to bring up. Wanderlei Silva, congratulations. Wanderlei Silva has done it. He's done it. He's in the Hall of Fame. I just want to say congrats. He's a legend.
Yeah.
The ex-murderer.
Yeah, he's a good friend of the show.
He is.
And yeah, we just both want to give him a quick, thank you for your service.
There was one moment in the press conference post the announcement. He did a little press conference. Did you see that?
No.
And someone asked him, "Oh, so are you and Chael? Are you friends now?" And he said, he's not been to my house yet. Something. I don't know what that means, but he hasn't been to his house yet. But he might
Chael,
go eventually. He'll do a home invasion on you.
Yeah. Chael's a gangster like that.
He's a gangster from the mean streets of West Lynn.
Yeah.
Right, guys, let's move on. We've got some rating of a drink to do. This drink has made me feel pretty good. It's actually given me the pep up that I needed today.
I'm glad. And indirectly, I've made you feel pretty good then. Because I brought you this drink.
You did. Very nice of you.
Yeah. I almost, I went to a dairy, the closer one to me, in my work, at my little ink factory, which I've been told I've mentioned a couple times by Zach.
Cheers, Zach.
They didn't sell Powerade.
What?
I know. At the Selwyn Street Supreet, which I think is what it's called, it's a dairy. So I walked in there, and when you walk into a shop like that, you obviously go in there for something. And so I had to buy a little Boss coffee, which you'll see is ranked number 2 on our rank drink rating, on our ranked rating.
I know where you're going to put this.
Where am I going to put it?
You're going to put it at number 1.
No, I'm not.
Are you not?
Nope.
Where are you going to put it?
I was going to put it in between Iron Brew and Primo Milk. That's where I was going to put it.
Are you actually?
Yeah. I don't drink much of this.
I was going to say 2.
You're going to put it at number 2.
Yeah, I love this shit.
I'm not putting it above Boss Coffee.
That's all right. We can go...
I think if we put it below Picari Sweat, that kind of evens out our...
I thought this was going to be your number 1.
Honestly, this is the furthest apart we've rated a drink.
It is, and I was pretty confident.
We're
that you were
definitely
gonna
not on the same page right now.
We're not. But guys, try it. It's a beautiful drink. So we're putting it just under Pocari Sweat here, which is it's funny because it's a very similar drink to Pocari Sweat.
Just to answer the question we brought up at the start of the session, could you bring up if Powerade is only sold in New Zealand? He's typing it in, guys. We're getting the answers now, so you guys can go home to your wives and children.
Sold 70 countries.
Well, oh, that's different. That's a different ting. That's a different ting, homeboy.
It's sold in other places, but I think it's marketed differently.
Wasn't this the drink of the All Blacks for quite some time?
Yes, it is. It was.
I don't think it is anymore. I think they've, yeah. So the All Blacks being our national rugby team, being our national sport, this was their national drink to drink for the national rugby sport team.
Which they never would have drank.
The national drink of the sport team rugby sport. Goodbye. We'll see
Goodbye.
you. We'll
Remember
see you.
to subscribe, like, comment, watch our top 10 videos.
Do that.
Top 5 videos.
And come back for us to break down the Mexico card
on Saturday. See you then.
Woo!